Alliance research is one of the most important aspects in Call of Dragons that is not discussed enough. So, in this video, I'll be giving you a guide on which Alliance researches you should focus on first in order to gain a humongous advantage over your enemies over the course of a Call of Dragons season. What is up, guys? MEOWER here, back with a brand new Call of Dragons video. So, in today's video, we'll be going over Alliance technology and what does it mean in order to get an advantage during a season. So, without further introduction, let's get started. Alliance technology impacts almost everything you do in regards of your normal gameplay, and it also impacts your alliance gameplay. So, we're going to go over the key important technologies in each tree that you want to focus on in order to maximize your advantage and maximize your snowball, your effect, or have a snowball effect over your enemies in order to develop as fast as possible and gain an edge overall. So starting off, as soon as you create an alliance, you're gonna start with the development tree. You want to get Divine Covenant 1, you want to get Divine Covenant 2, and you want to get Divine Covenant 3, all three of them up as soon as possible, but you want to rush the alliance tech. So you unlock Divine Covenant 1, you rush all the way to Divine Covenant 2, and then you rush all the way to Divine Covenant 3 while still working on every one of those. You want to max out these three first as getting more members in your alliance helps you build your alliance faster, it helps you gain even more helps, and it helps you overall in every single aspect of Call of Dragons. Next up, after you're done with Divine Covenants, you want to start working on the following. You want to start working next on the war tactics one, mainly just to gain even more XP for your commanders across the entire alliance. So, in order for you to have an even bigger advantage in the field when you're farming Darklings or doing anything related to gaining hero and commander XP, super important, super valuable, and it adds up a lot over time, especially considering it is a humongous 10% for a really low investment time. Next up, after you're done, you want to start unlocking the alliance bits. Also, just because you're rushing something does not mean you want to ignore everything else, because early on the alliance is super active. You're going to have a lot of donations coming through. So you want to start spreading out your donations efficiently in order to prepare as many researches as you can in order to keep your queues full. You never want to have a queue empty for more than an hour or two at best. Otherwise, your alliance will be it is considered kind of inactive. So you might want to start working on that as soon as possible. Next up, you want to try to unlock the resource bits as fast as possible. So Alliance Gold Mines, Alliance Wood Mines, Ore Mines, and Mana Mines, because they are super important when it comes to stocking up resources in order to build flags on your territory and input as much in your Alliance storehouse as much as possible. Which brings us to the next topic, where you want to focus on the enlarged storage, and of course the flag expansion planning. Over time, as you start building your territory, you will not hit the cap early on as fast as you think, but you don't want to get caught off guard and not be building any towers. So you want to start grabbing the expansion planning 1 and the expansion planning 2 in order to maximize your tower limit. Afterwards, you want to start working on the alliance with production and all the production techs pretty much, but you always want to start on working on 2 before 1, because 2 in value gives much more than 1, and they take roughly the same amount of donations in order to unlock the research and start it as fast as possible. As for destruction engineering, when it comes to barricades or regular or even regular engineering, is good. It's really good and it's really important. But you want to grab the building costs faster, because less building costs is much better early on, especially when resources are very limited and you want to maximize your fort and not just fort, your tower building speed as well. Fortification, in my opinion, is the least valuable technology early on, because the more HP your buildings have, the more time they're gonna take in order to build. So you want to try to avoid that as much as possible, because if you are not active and your buildings are being burned, there's nothing you can do no matter how big or small the HP is. So you want to be as fast as possible and mobile as possible when it comes to building and such. Next up, the war technologies. You want to start grabbing them fast, but not as a top priority, because the development and territory are much more important. However, if you feel like you're approaching a war, I would recommend start getting up your marksmen and your mages, because they're both of them are the most important when it comes to units that people have access to early on. You want to start grabbing also marksmen too and magic units too, and then you want to go for cavalry and finally infantry attack. You don't want to research infantry attack as fast as possible, because infantry naturally have super low attack, so you're augmenting a really low stat with a super high or not a super high, but on a very time constrained research timer. So always grab the infantry attacks last, no matter what. They're not as important as you think. And if you feel like you're going to be defending a lot, you always want to grab these two as well. And of course, lightning strike, because you want to outmaneuver your enemies if they are fighting on your territory. And finally, the last few I would say is Judgment, Shields of Faith 1 and 2, Swordsmanship 1 and 2, because they're not that good. Clarion Call is really good when you want to start farming forts, because it decreases the fort time ready time from 5 minutes to 2 minutes, which is pretty nice, all things considered. It kind of adds up over time. And then, of course, you want to start grabbing the gathering speed and reserves. I would recommend getting the mana maxed as soon as possible, because mana is the most valuable resource in Call of Dragons, whether if it's for alliances or for individuals, but more lenient towards individuals. For alliances, you'll always struggle with gold and wood, then mana and ore. So if you feel like you're running low on any resource, just drop a drop a pit and gather it, because it will uh, yield back into your alliance storage, making it near unlimited having any type of certain resource, as long as you're playing it as efficiently as possible. Plethora 1 and 2 are good, but they're not as priority as the rest. And of course, if you are feeling that you're going to be entering a war soon, do grab the Alliance Keeps and its researches, because they're super good and they add up quite a little bit. And then, last but not least, the behemoth decks. The behemoth decks are not as important early on, because you have access to very limited behemoth times. But if you do decide to work on getting behemoths, you want to grab the summon skill cooldown as fast as possible and try to max it as fast as possible, because this is the most valuable one you'll ever have. And then of course start working on its HP, start working on its attack. You don't need to work on behemoth defense as the others, so you want to focus on HP and attack for every single behemoth, because naturally they have super high stats for both of them. So of course you want to max them as much as possible. And that is it when it comes to knowing which alliance technology to focus on. So, what did I mean by the Alliance technology every single season? I meant that every season in Call of Dragons, the Alliance completely disbands, and you have to start over and start building it up from scratch. Everything related to member capacity, gift levels, such as our current gift level is 50, the Alliance membership limit resets as well, because the entire Alliance pretty much you have to build it up from scratch again every single season. That is why it is important to know which which technology to focus on as fast as possible, just to have that bigger advantage over your enemies in the next season and every season going forward in Call of Dragons. If you like videos like this and you want to have more, feel free to join my Discord. Don't forget to like and comment and do subscribe, because it really helps out the channel. And I will see you in the next video. Meow meow.